What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into Everybody's Studios. Now today in the studio we're going to be sculpting and painting an awesome ornament. Now what originated this video is that the kids actually started a new project at school. Well, project slash competition slash participation. It's more so about the kids just engaging and just having fun, whether they're whatever they're creating. And when I say whatever, I mean they can create anything they want as long as they choose a book character. And all the kids have to do is pick a main book character to create their subject from. Now they can create their ornament in a lot of different subjects as long as it is a 5" by 5" minimum. That is one of the rules for the project, and it had to be in by a certain date. Now I only received this information through Dojo, if you're a parent, Dojo, a few days ago. So I've got the clay, I've got the kids ready to go, and we're going to be sculpting 2 ornaments in simply 2 days. So it's going to be intense. Because of the time variant in this, I will be doing the majority of the sculpt work in the actual ornaments themselves, and then the kids will take over and do the painting throughout the process, okay? So same intro for both of the projects. Just be aware that these are 2 of them. So there's one that is a baby shark, and then there's one that is a Arctic fox. We'll get more into the specifics in those individual videos, whichever one of those you are watching right here. So we'll go ahead and break into those 2 videos now. All right, guys, so now we are in the baby shark portion of this ornament creation participation event for the kids' school. Now this is the one that my son had chose, and he chose Baby Shark. Now not just Baby Shark, like there's an actual Baby Shark Christmas book out there because you had to choose a book character. We don't have that book, but I do have the Halloween one, right? So, okay, it's Halloween. It's past Halloween. I get it. We're going to be doing the Christmas book. Now, of course, you can find those book readings on YouTube as well, so you can always watch those. Now, I'm going to deviate from the book a little bit, so don't judge me, guys. Don't chastise me too much. We're going to be doing an actual elf instead of Santa because that's just what he wanted to do. We watched the Baby Shark YouTube channel, and he saw the Santa Claus elf in a green jacket and a green hat with a little red dot at the top, and that's what he wanted to do. So, of course, I'm going to let my baby do what he wants to do. So, I'm going to go ahead and sculpt this out. Now, we are going to use a different format than we did with the Arctic fox. We're going to be doing layered clay. What that means is that I'm going to start off with a single flat layer of clay, and every time I add a new piece, I'm going to flatten out more clay with the lasagna press right over there, and I will add that piece, sculpt it in, and then work to the next. So you're working in layers, one after another, just like an onion, right? We're layered like onions. Shrek reference, okay, whatever. So we're going to do layers until we get to the very surface, and then what I'll do is, just like the Arctic fox, I'm going to create a flat backer to go on the back of the ornament that will give it the thickness and the strength that it needs to survive the actual delivery to the school and hanging on the tree for 2 weeks and then bringing it home process. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get some Sculpey original clay out, which is beginner grade clay from Sculpey, and let's go ahead and begin the sculpting process. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into this awesome baby shark ornament. We're going to be using the lasagna press quite often throughout the creation of this ornament here, and we're going to be using Sculpey Original. So, of course, I went ahead and kind of measured out my parchment paper here, and we need, of course, 2 of these because we're making 2 ornaments. We're making one baby shark and one Arctic fox, and that's a separate video there, so you can always check out the Arctic fox on its own individual video. So again, we do have the Halloween baby shark book, but we don't have the Christmas one. So of course we're just going to kind of look at the books online and some of the pages on Google Images, as well as look at the YouTube video. Now again, as stated before, we're going to be using the image from the YouTube video as reference for this because that's where I'm pulling it up from. So I'm going to pull up the actual video on my iPad, and then that's kind of the reference that we're going to be using. But this is the overall shape that we're going to be using for baby shark. Fin, white bottom of the belly, side view of the mouth and the eyes. One thing that I am going to do differently as opposed to the image that you just saw is I'm going to make it 2 eyes. So we're going to have 2 eyes on the side of the head, which will look a little bit more cartoonish. And it's supposed to make it look like the baby shark is kind of turned and then looking behind him at, say, like, Santa Shark or Daddy Shark or whoever that shark is in the YouTube video. So that's where that's coming from. We're going to make 2 eyes, and that way also my son has 2 eyes to paint instead of just 1. just extra layers and extra pieces of clay to sculpt here. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the general shape of our baby shark, starting off with just cutting out the tail, and then we're just going to take an X-Acto knife here. Make sure you just be very careful with whatever tools that you're using. If this is a child who's creating the ornament in this style or following this tutorial, then make sure that you're using like a butter knife or something like that. You do not have to use something sharp. I just do that because I'm a little bit more advanced in my clay creation journey, and it gives it much crisper lines. So you can also get that same effect with some sculpting tools, or even just a small butter knife from the kitchen. So it does not have to be specifically sharp. So we're just using a small wooden dowel tool here, and this is just used to kind of pressure the overall design into the clay here. I'm trying to get an idea of the proportions of the actual baby shark in comparison to the clay that we have here. Remember that my parchment paper is exactly 5 inches in width because that is the maximum that the ornament is supposed to be on for the little participation for the school. So we're just going to start removing the layers of clay here with our X-Acto knife. Again, just be careful when you're using an X-Acto knife. Of course, if it's been used a lot, usually they are actually quite dull, but mine is actually pretty razor sharp here. I'm only applying enough pressure just to cut through the this nice soft Scorpio original. We're not going to cut through the parchment paper here. There's the fin there, getting the top of the head lined up. We're going to go ahead and cut in the top of the tail as well as the backbone, and then there is the other under portion of the fin. Bottom of the tail here, bringing it down towards the belly. We will add a fin there, so don't worry about that. We'll come back to that. And now we're going to go ahead and taper this a little bit until it's a nice smooth arc on the belly. Just like that. Trimming a little bit here and there just so I can get a little bit more curvature to the body. Just kind of nitpicking over some stuff. I'm also going to take just a small wooden tool here. We're going to roll along the outside edges. If you get any kind of like tugging with your cutting blade, just rolling it out can kind of alleviate any kind of raised edges around the outside. We're going to get a second piece of clay out, and we're going to begin the process of working on the let's just say the accessories or maybe the anatomy of the body. I'm actually going to use this small paintable miniature here, which I've actually never painted. It's always just been sitting around, and we're going to go ahead and indentation and then cut out the baby shark's eyes. Now these are the whites of the eyes, as you can see here. We're just going to go ahead and lay them into place. Unless you pressure them into place, you can always just remove them, and you will see me remove those in a moment. There's our second little eye there, and as you can see, there are on the sides of the head. Think about it like Peppa Pig, right? Peppa Pig always has like the eyes on the side of the face, kind of weird looking. Not that Peppa Pig's weird, but you get what I mean. Then we're going to go ahead and cut out the pupils of the eyes here. And of course, if you're not happy with the size of those pupils, you can always cut out more. You see, I have 4 holes right there. Yes, that's right. I cut them out 2 times because I did not like the original size of them. I'm going to lay another sheet of lasagna pressed clay out here, and we're going to go ahead and just gently carve out the middle line of the body. I decided to go ahead and do this because in a lot of the images for Baby Shark, they have like kind of like highlights on their characters. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to go ahead and kind of layer in the highlights of the top of the fin as well as the middle line of the body. So naturally, we're going to probably make the baby shark yellow, that standard yellow color that most people see baby shark as. But a lot of the depictions of baby shark now also show them in blue. Now that is the reference photo that I am indeed referencing when I am creating this. So these would be naturally like a light blue, and then the upper portion of the body would be like a dark blue. But moving forward, just think about it as like the top of the shark here is going to be like a yellow, and all of these highlights would be white, as well as the lower portion of the body. There we go, getting that kind of carved out there. Any kind of overhang needs to be carved off. I want the outside edges of the ornament to be actually pretty smooth overall. So any kind of clay that you add on, you need to make sure that you cut it flush with the main body silhouette that we originally had. I'm going to go ahead and tuck a piece of clay here underneath the jawline. and this is going to be where that kind of the red of the mouth is. So this is where we're going to go ahead and carve out a little bit of a mouth here, and we're also going to go ahead and expand the mouth out just slightly, just so we can make that a little bit more noticeable. It also increases the cartoonishness of it a little bit, cartoonishness. We're also going to get the gills into place. These are just small pieces of clay, and we're also going to get a tongue. So there is a small tongue. Now that would be a little bit of a darker red than the rest of the mouth. You can also make it lighter red if you want, as long as there's a distinguishing difference between the mouth and the tongue, so that way it's visible at least a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get those teeth into position here. Now the teeth are a little bit different, right, because you're attaching those to the upper portions of the layers of clay, whereas it actually divots down here. It doesn't really matter as long as you kind of get them into position and you kind of blend them in with the body so they don't really just fall off. Just remember, we're going to come in very much later in the process, actually the last step of the sculpting process, and we're going to give this a clay backer. And that's going to apply a lot of strength to the back of the ornament. But we'll get to that here shortly. Just remember that those teeth are very kind of fragile for now, but we'll fix that here in the portion of the video. Next up, we're going to be using 70% rubbing alcohol here, used with an adult, and we're going to go ahead and use a kind of thick bristle brush here, and we're going to go ahead and smooth out our clay. Now this will help alleviate some of the harsh edges at the edges of your clay, mostly around the edges of the eyes, around some of those highlight silhouettes around the tails and the fins, as well as the seam line between the upper portion of where the yellow body would be and the white belly and kind of like the nose of the baby shark here. There's also a seam line there that I have not blended yet, so it looks kind of like abstract. That we did that specifically, a little extra clay there so that the eyes would not be hanging off of that yellow portion of the body. So I went ahead and blended that here, and now we're going to begin the process of kind of trimming out our jacket. Yes, we're making an elf in this video, so we're going to go ahead and trim out the elf jacket here. It's very simplistic overall. So what I did is I went ahead and laid out a piece of lasagna press. You got it, lasagna press clay here. And we're going to go ahead and kind of fit this into the body here. It's a little short here, but you can go ahead and roll out the edges of the clay a little bit and then just taper the edges so that it looks like the jacket is kind of rolling around the sides of the baby shark. Now that clay is substantially thinner than some of the clay that we've been working with so far. So I just adjusted the thickness of the lasagna press to be much thinner than we were working with previously. We're also going to cut out a bottom belt of the jacket, and we're going to use a small curvature tool here, a dental tool. You may see that your dentist uses those sometimes on your teeth. Yes, you may. We're going to use this for sculpting in this situation. We're also going to cut out a upper, I guess you could call it a collar, because this would be the neck of the baby shark. Do sharks have necks? We'll just run with it. Anyways, so this will be the neck or the collar of the jacket that we're putting together. Now that is actually flush with the top of the jacket, whereas you can see the tail fin portion, right before you hit the fin, it actually is up a little bit. So the belt is around, say, like the belly button or the hips of the baby shark. And then we also have a sleeve. Yes, you're right. We do have a sleeve here. Now this sleeve is going to be kind of overlapped over this fin here. So we went ahead and cut out a little small triangle of some clay here. And we're going to go ahead and kind of pressure this and blend it in with our little tool there. Not very hard. I'll just push gently. And then once you're blended in there, then you can just cut out a small square here. You can shape it however you'd like. And then we're going to go ahead and blend that into the exterior edges of the jacket. And then that makes it look like the fin on the forward-facing side of us, the viewer, is actually coming out of the jacket. Now, how cool is that? We're going to go ahead and also cut out a hat. Very simplistic. Basically, you're cutting out a triangle. You can cut the bottom of it at an angle. There we go. And then what we can do is we'll go ahead and put a small dot at the very top, which will be that like signature, like kind of like bell or little red tassel dot. I guess that would also be the same shape as a clown hat or a birthday hat. Who knew? I guess it all depends on how you paint it, right? If you painted it polka dotted, I guess you could make this a birthday baby shark maybe. Or I guess if you put it in green and reds, it'd be a Christmas hat ornament. We're also going to cut out a small little band across the bottom of the hat there. And that's supposed to be a little bit frou-frou, right? A little bit of a little frill to it, but we are going to go ahead and smooth that out as well. We're going to go ahead and pressure this into place across the top of the head there. Do not worry, we will reinforce that. We also gave it another fin across the front. That's supposed to be the forward-facing fin from the other side of the baby shark, facing away from us. And I also went ahead and sculpted in just a small, very simplistic, very flat candy cane. Now, I wanted to do a candy cane specifically because that's what it had in the YouTube video. And also, it would give my son the opportunity to paint something like an accessory to go along with the baby shark. It is a candy cane because it is, as after all, a Christmas ornament. Yes, it is. So what goes better with Christmas and hot chocolate and cozy fires? Yes, candy canes. Whether you like peppermint or some of those newer flavors, everybody loves candy canes. If you don't, what's wrong with you? Everybody loves candy canes. They even have Jolly Rancher candy canes now, all sorts of different flavors, and blueberry and strawberry and raspberry, and they're absolutely awesome. Kind of awkward to eat sometimes. I always break mine in half into different pieces and eat it like that. But I remember holding one as a kid from the shepherd's hook and eating it that way. If you don't know the origin story of candy canes, you should really look that up. I'm sure you can find that on YouTube as well. It is a very fun story. So here we are so far. Now this is going to go ahead and get a bake before it moves on to the next stage, and that's the reinforcement of the background. Really happy with how the mouth and the teeth turned out, as well as the candy cane. As you can see here, we do have a little bit of texture on this again, because I did go over a second time with some rubbing alcohol just to kind of blend out some of those harsh edges. We also have a nice smooth edge around the outside edges of the body now, whereas before it was a hard edge. Now I did give it a single bake at 275 in our oven, and then that was baked for around maybe 15 to 20 minutes or so. Not too long, but I did leave it in a little bit too long. Also, I put a small bag of rice and a oven mitt on top of it just to pressure it down so that as it cooled, it did not buckle or warp as it cooled off. Some thin clays can do that, so we want to make sure that we weight that down. And as stated before, I'm going to give that a reinforced backer. Just lay out some clay and cut around. All right, guys. So we're at the halfway point now, and this bad boy is fully sculpted out. Now, we didn't have to bake it as long as my daughter's because hers had thicker clay on it. But this one we baked at 275 for around 10 to 15 minutes. And of course, because it is a flat style ornament, it needed to lay as flat as possible. So after it came out of the oven, I do weight it down with a rice bag and something on top of it. It keeps it super flat against the actual baking pan. If you let it cool naturally, sometimes you'll get a little bit of a bow in your clay. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. It turned out great. You did a great job with your ornament that you're creating there at your home. But just be aware it can get a little bit of curvature as that clay cools off and contracts a little bit. So we are going to go ahead and roll into the painting portion of the video. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to introduce paints onto his little palette paper here, and he is going to paint it out. Sometimes I'll try to like just notate, hey, look, this is supposed to be yellow right here, or this is supposed to be red or green, just so he can kind of get an idea of where the paints need to go. Because otherwise, if I just give him all the paints, he's going to create a bunch of mud. If you don't know what mud is, you guys, mud is when you combine too many colors in too many ways and it comes out to be a brown color. A lot of colors like lead that way if you keep working with them a lot and adding more colors in, and just it's called mud. And we don't want that, okay? So I want to try to let him create a little bit of isolation in the colors just so he can understand the categories. Like the jacket needs to be green, his body needs to be yellow, his belly needs to be white, and things like that. So just be aware that we're going to introduce one color at a time. And if you see my hand popping in there ever so often, I'm just kind of like tidying things up or telling him that he needs to paint this again because it needs to be a little bit thicker paint, things like that. So it's still him though. He has fun during the process, and that is the most important thing for any of the kids that create ornaments, whether it's something on popsicle sticks or something that I've sculpted. It needs to be fun. All of this upper body is going to be yellow. The inside, that's going to be yellow. This part's going to be yellow. His gills are going to be yellow for now. All right, here's going to be yellow. Don't pay his eye. That's white, right? And then what else? His fin. His fin's got to be yellow. And then this is going to be white down here, okay? So this right here is going to be green because that's his jacket.
That
oh, you're right. That's going to be yellow too. Okay, you ready? All right, here you go, dude. All right, paint all those parts yellow, and then we'll get some white out for the lower part of his body. Right?
Right.
All right. There you go, dude. Digging it, man. All right, I'm gonna leave that pause right there so you can see it, okay? I like that. Dude, that's wicked cool, man. I'm loving it.
Baby shark, do 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 do.
Baby shark, do 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 do. Baby shark, do do do.
Santa shark, do do.
Santa shark.
It is a Santa shark in this song.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna put some music on for you, there, buddy.
I want baby shark.
Baby shark.
Actually, we will rock you song. I'm gonna be awesome today.
Now, of course, he is 100% right, and he is awesome in every single way. He is going to take over the show here, and he is the artist. This is his studio time, his painting. I'm just here assisting whenever he needs it, getting him new layers of paint out. I do get a lot more paint out than we probably need for such a small subject, but it is his show, so he did request some rock and roll music. We will rock you. And we're going to put some rock and roll on for him to paint to during his studio time. Again, we were kind of notating here where the paint colors need to go. But other than that, that's kind of all I'm doing, guys. He's going to paint this bad boy out, this bad boy being Baby Shark. So sit back and enjoy, guys, as we go ahead and listen to some fun music and we knock out the painting portion of this Baby Shark ornament. Now, as always, guys, you can follow this if you'd like to make your own baby shark or make some kind of ornament of your own in the same overall overlapping clay style. But remember, when you're painting it, it's okay to overlap paints, guys. Just have fun with the process. The most important thing. Alright, guys, so just be aware that this turned out absolutely phenomenal. I'm really proud of the work my son did on the painting portion of this little baby shark. Now, it was a very fun sculpt, and it didn't take me awful too long. It only took me like 2, maybe 3 hours. It actually took me more time to create baby shark than it did the actual Arctic fox. So you can definitely check that out. Now, I will now create a playlist specifically for ornament creation here on my YouTube channel. We haven't created a whole lot of ornaments, but hey, why not, right? Now we're going to go ahead and let this dry completely overnight, and then we're going to deliver it to the school tomorrow morning, and they'll hang it on the tree for an extended amount of time. And then, of course, they have like some awards, like the favorite awards, like who voted for the most, the best ornament, things like that. But that's not what this is about, right? This is not what that's about. It's not about winning anything. It's about the kids having fun creating something different or new, or maybe learning a new skill set, and then being able to take that to the school as a pride thing. Like I took that. Even if you take like literally popsicle sticks and glue them in like different patterns and let them glitter it and then put eyeballs on it, they have fun. And that's the most important thing, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. We do all sorts of art, whether it's beginner, medium, or more advanced mastery levels. It's out there, guys. So I'll see you on the next awesome video. Later, guys. Turned out good, right?